All right. The only set of notes you have this week, 1.7, and then it's fall break. Woohoo! That means that we're going to do 1.7 this week, and you will have 1.8 and a small, like traditional style math test for next week through Canvas. So just be on the lookout, but enjoy your fall break until then. Today we are doing combinations of functions and what that looks like. We did this, I think it is 5-6 in Algebra 2. So when we did radicals at the end, there was a couple other things that we did. So if it looks familiar, that is why. So you have actually completed it before. So combinations of function is exactly what it says. We are combining two different functions. So remember that we can define functions by saying things like f of x, g of x, h of x. There are lots of different ones that we can call them. F and g are the most common. So sum is exactly that. It's a plus sign. There's a couple ways to write it. You can write f plus g and then the x on the outside, but all it means is the function of x plus the function of x. So just titled different, f versus g. Okay, so I'm going to go through all of these. They're all looking the same. So difference means subtraction. Order does matter for subtraction. So just like with regular numbers, 4 minus 3 is different than 3 minus 4. So the same is true for functions. Adding doesn't really matter because, again, 3 plus 4 is the same thing as 4 plus 3. For product, there's a couple ways to write it. If they're just side by side, that means multiplication. So just like you write 5x means 5 times x, same idea there. I have seen worksheets that put the little x multiplication symbol there. There are some that use the tiny little dot, but we have to be careful with that tiny dot because there's also a dot that is open that actually means something completely different than multiplication. So be very careful with these dots and notice when it is open, meaning like not filled in or not. Because if it is open, it does not mean multiply, and we'll get to that in a later video. All right, so quotient means division. And it's just the same thing as f of x divided by g of x. Again, whoops. F divided by g is different than g divided by f. So 2 divided by 1 is different than 1 divided by 2. One of the answers is 2 and one of the answers is 1/2. So there is a stipulation for quotient saying that, hey, be careful because the bottom can never equal 0 in order for it to work. So recall that you can never divide by 0. It's undefined. It does not work. So our domain always has to be that the bottom does not equal 0. And we'll look at some examples of that. So your next slide is to just fill in the sum, difference, product, and quotient. And I did that mostly just so that you have notes there without actually having to open this video again. So go ahead and fill those in, sum, difference, product, and quotient, and then meet me back here for the next video.